So what is the setup on this chassis? What are we driving right now?
It all starts with our patented Square X frame rail. So we have a boxed rail with internal support.
That's right.
So now all of your suspension components that are going onto that frame rail, they're not twisting and flexing in the corners, so you're not getting a very degree of geometry as you enter a corner or exit a corner, or hard braking or whatever, so everything stays planted. From there, we go into our billet control arms, which are kind of unique because it allows you to adjust for roll center. A lot of people don't talk about roll center, different height tires.
It's typically a racing thing only, you know?
Yeah, but it's amazing when you can get the suspension back to what it was originally designed, and then it handles phenomenally.
Right.
You know, and we spent I don't know how much money in the design and stuff working. We actually take each component, stress test it, find the weaknesses, and design around that. So from the billet control arms, you come out to a billet spindle. It does accept a Corvette bearing. So we use a C7 Corvette bearing, and then you come out to the 14-inch rotor and the 6-piston caliper from Willwood, which is amazing.
Which explains the braking.
Yeah, the brakes are awesome. The rear end is a IRS 9-inch from Ford, right? The Ford 9-inch or IRS, whatever.
But the housing of your...
But it's our housing, so it's a billet housing, which has increased the fluid capacity and the cooling. So you almost drop your cooling temperatures almost in half. Dutchman does all of our third members. We have a wave track, upgraded billet pinion support, and then it's their axles, and then the CVs. The front suspension, again, it's billet control arms, which are all adjustable. And then a big key to this is the JRI shocks and the Hyperco springs, and we order those directly from JRI. They're built for each vehicle. And then they go to JJ, Ultimate Performance, top shock guy in the country. He then takes them apart, checks everything, tunes them, runs them in his dyno, and then he sends them to us. And then we have a center support that's pretty unique on our chassis, which gives it a lot of rigidity, and it gets rid of the twist and flex.
So what about wheel and tire options? I know this one is set up with the meats.
Yeah, so you can go larger than what we have. That's a 20-inch wheel, and that is I think it's 12 and a half inches wide. You can go up to 14 inches wide, no problem. You can probably go past that. I don't know what you're going to get for rubber at that point.
But there's nothing wrong with going the other way.
There's nothing wrong with going the other way.
I know some people don't. They just don't want that.
The big dish and stuff. So we can order the rear end so it's wider. It's got a little longer axle. You get less dish. And that's the cool thing about our chassis. It allows you to customize it to whatever you're looking for.
What is like a power rating for all that stuff?
So it's 1200-ish.
Okay.
With sticky tires. So with the upgraded billet rear end, what it does is it makes it a lot stiffer in the bearing support areas. So maybe it's good for 1500 horsepower. I don't know if the CVs or axles are going to fail at that point.
Well, I mean, a lot of people worry about like, oh, you can't have IRS and big power. You can't do that. But I think
that's the other cool thing about this is when you launch and under power, it shoots straight as an arrow.
I wouldn't know IRS other than the fact that it handles amazing. I mean, the way it takes off and launches, you don't expect to get that. You're like, oh, it's going to hop and do weird stuff because it's IRS. I would never know.
And I've driven a lot of aftermarket IRS chassis.
Right.
And a lot of them have this undeniable wheel hop.
Right.
And it sucks. You can't control it. You can't get rid of it.
That's where that reputation comes from.
Yeah, and you get that a lot, where it's pretty amazing when you get something set up with proper geometry. You don't have that. And you don't have the sway bar fighting the IRS because everything was designed all as one unit. So
you're not using the old Carroll Shelby effect. Just let the chassis take the road.
Exactly. someone might not want something that's 3.5 inches off the ground with steamrollers on the rear and the front, you know? And that's fine, because when we start a chassis build, we go through everything that the owner's looking for. You know, what is their end goal with this?
Right.
Are they going to cruise around with the old lady and go get some ice cream and then have some fun with it and, you know, blow the tires off of it? Or are they looking to do the power tour? Are they going to try to do drag week? And then that's where we tailor what we make. So it's a small company, so it's more of that artisan company, you know, so we can tailor each piece to the person. It's not mass produced. There's not 50 of them sitting on the shelf.
Right.
So we can go through each person instead of settling for something, just like settling for adding upgraded parts to an original chassis.
Right.
You know, it's really not what you want.
Right.
You want this feel, but you can't get it all the time. So, you know, you have to do upgraded parts. But, you know, if you're willing to wait, you get something that's tailored to you and it's designed for you. So.